Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for this Thursday, January 13th. Looking at our drought monitor, still things improved across much of the southern portion of the Great Basin to the Arizona Strip from what we had the last summer, but we still have extreme to exceptional drought across central areas of Nevada into western Utah, and we'll be continuing to monitor the drought situation as we go through the latter winter months. Precipitation, past 7 days, bone dry across most of Nevada and western Utah and into the Arizona Strip. Light to moderate amounts of precipitation across the higher terrain of Idaho and western Wyoming. You can see the percent of normal just about everywhere below normal, especially Nevada near 0%. And even the 2 week, you can see how much below normal much of western and central Nevada is. This time of year, you can see the precipitation, none through there, a bit across the higher terrain, just north of Vegas and into Cedar City. Pretty moderate precipitation, mostly in the latter part of December into early January across the higher terrain of Utah and Idaho and western Wyoming. Snowpack right now, at this point, pretty healthy. We had a very wet latter portion of December into early January, so anywhere from 20 to 50% above normal snowpack-wise across the region. We do need more snow because the dry signal that's showing up right now, and it has been with us for the past week, can make this disappear very quickly. Looking at our fuels, 1,000-hour fuels down into the low teens, where you see these yellows here across northern Nevada into southern Idaho and across southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip as well. The 100 hours show up into the single digits, where you see these gold areas, and of course the 10-hour fuels quite dry across western and southern areas down into the middle to low single digits. So in the dead and dormant brush that's exposed and not under the cover of snow, there is a potential whenever you have a windy, dry event coming through. We do have one of those. Thanks to this storm system now pushing up moisture into parts of Idaho, most of this moisture will push north of the Great Basin. We will get some winds out of this system that we'll have to monitor. The upper level map for later this afternoon does show the moisture, again, mostly to our north, but winds increasing with this tight gradient. Ventilation index, though, still this time of year, the short days, long nights, and snow cover, moderate to poor. We see the purple areas. Wind speeds, transport winds on the left, maybe 5 to 15 miles per hour in the yellow to green shades, a bit stronger in the orange shades across parts of northwest Nevada. Mixing heights above ground, you can see those inversions hanging tough throughout the day across most of Utah and much of central and southern Nevada. Now for tomorrow, the low pressure kind of arcs up and over, a strong high pressure building in, and it's developing a strong north to northeast wind gradient across Utah and into Nevada. And this is something we'll have to watch. This will improve the smoke dispersion. That is one good thing. You see a lot more white and yellow in the map, a lot less of that purple color, but also we do see the increasing transport winds. They're coming out of the north and northeast, downsloping with drying, and we see that with the relative humidity down here across southern Nevada, teens to near 20%, with winds of 30 to 50 miles per hour. So any areas of dormant brush and grassy areas that are exposed could potentially ignite in those windy, dry conditions tomorrow. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Winds should decrease, but high pressure and dry air in place on Saturday. We start to see the air quality, the overall ventilation index start to worsen a bit from north to south. You can see very little transport winds in these gray shades. Still some locally breezy conditions out of the northeast across southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip, though. Mixing heights, quite poor across most areas except for the southern quadrant of the Great Basin, where they will be a couple thousand feet above ground level with those winds. Precipitation over the next 3 days, you can see that just light scattered amounts through here across parts of Idaho and western Wyoming, otherwise bone dry. And that dryness continues as high pressure builds overhead, and it's kind of a split flow. The northern stream systems are pushing up into British Columbia, and the southern stream systems are staying down across the Baja region of Mexico or off the southern California coast. So we stay dry, and you can see our ventilation index or dispersion worst in the purple, best in the yellows and whites, and you can see So we go through the next couple of days, really no big change. We're in that dry pattern. The moisture stays both to our north and to our south. A little clipping of mid-level moisture here, but very light precipitation. Same for the southern areas. And finally, as we get into Wednesday, a bit of improvement here, possibly. We'll see on the smoke dispersion. The precipitation accumulation days 4 and 5, bone dry, and continuing on days 6 and 7, again, other than some scattered trace amounts, no significant precipitation in sight, and none expected, a drier than normal signal, especially for the western Great Basin, and barely getting a cloud in there from January 20th to the 26th, and basically near or warmer than normal. So this dry, warm pattern is expected to continue probably through the end of January before we see any change in the Pacific storm track. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day. Next one will be coming up next Monday. Or actually, Monday will be a holiday, so it'll be followed up later next week.